I'll show you a new plugin I've been developing that allows you to run Twig language inside your Contact Forms app. As soon as you activate the plugin, you will have access to Twig directly, and you will have a new Developer tab. Developer tab will have snippets, allowed functions, variable validation, and after submit. If I go to the form, I can see that I can add directly Twig here. I can say get UTM source. This will allow me to capture get variable from and with the specific key UTM source. Once I reload, I will get the UTM source directly in your name. There's many plugins that can do such a thing. It's not a wow thing, but however, this plugin can also run conditional statements. So for example, if I say if user, okay, and if hello user display name. User the display name will show me my name on the test page. If I reload hello Naji, which is how it can work more. So I can show specific fields that I need per user. I can say the roles, I can compare, I can do whatever I want inside the form. Save, I'm gonna go to the developer tab. Once I go to the developer tab and I click add new snippet, I will see the first thing is a shortcode. This shortcode will allow us to show the response that I'm gonna execute here in the form. So I need to add this shortcode directly in my form. I'll add it after phone number, go to developer tab. The listener, which says listen to your name, I will listen to your email. On change, on focus, on select, on key up, which event you want to listen to. On select will only work with selected boxes and drop downs. It will not work with text boxes. For example, I would say on blur and execute, then replace the response. Append or prepend the response here. Replaced. Click save. Listen to your email and on blur. If I click reload here, you can see the email here. When I click outside, it says replaced. It's very simple. It shows me what I need to be done. However, there's more into it. Supposedly, I want to say if for your email let's check in from your email and if. This allows me to check if your email is valid. Does it have an at? Please enter a valid email. What happens now is that if at is in for your email, please enter a valid email. Now, I will check. Sorry, possibly if at from your email, save. Oh, sorry. Nothing. I missed it. See, please enter a valid email. Please enter a valid email at no, which is correct. Now, what I need to be done is one of the scenarios that I had with some of the clients is that he requires one of these. It's either his email or his phone number. Not both of them, and possibly, if possible, both of them, but it's not required. However, at least one of them. How can I achieve this one? This one can be achieved easily. Now, first I will check if the email is empty. So I will say if form your email is empty and the other one, your phone is empty. Enter either a valid email or a phone number so we can contact you. Save, test, reload. I'm gonna blur the email. It says here if I click one of them exists. So one of these exists, that means I don't show a message. Not that only, it can also allow you to set form variables. Since I don't want it to show like a message, I can copy it. I would say set validate, which is a special variable also. So all this is in documentation. Validate, merge your phone. Okay. Then this one here. Gonna set it. Gonna remove some of the message because so you can see the full code. So what happens now, if form your email is empty and form your phone is empty, then please show a validate message under your phone that he have to put a valid phone. Save. Click here, make it empty. Please enter a valid phone. Okay, this is one of the things that I can do. The other thing is that I can do is that I can also set the form. So it's not only I can retrieve the values of the form, I can set the form back to what I want. I can say for example 0000000, which is a phone number. What happens now is that once I click on your phone, and blur it, you can see that there's text inside, which I set from the twig variable right here. You can add more snippets as much as you want. You can listen to your email, your name, your phone number, your subject, your message, and a specific selector. Now I'll show you how I can create a repeater to add more fields. I'll create a selector. Selector. I would say that the idea of the selector is repeater. Say on click. Then I will append prepend the response. I will save. I will create the trigger here. So I'll say here C B. Let's add telephone. Placeholder. How does that a placeholder? Here to save placeholder phone placeholder email. Move your phone. Now what happens is I'm gonna add the link, Peter, which is what I'm listening to. Add contact. Once this is clicked, it will execute this code here. Click save. Go back to the developer tab. I would say, if form your name as put or set validate, please enter a valid. Sorry, let's make them each alone. Your email, enter a valid email. If your phone is empty, please enter a valid form. Set validate. Okay, now I'm going to check if validate is empty, then everything is correct. I'm going to show the list that I want. I would say li and li. Okay, this one here. Form your email. Form your phone. Form, and then I reset them back to empty. So says your email, an empty phone number. Click save. Sorry here. Save. Let's reload. Let's see what's happened. I have a contact phone. I have add contact. I click add contact. Please enter a valid name. Please enter a valid phone. Test.d.com. Valid phone number. You can see I've added another contact, which is prepend. Now I'm gonna add another k.com. This one, add contact with another one. Now I'm gonna add something so I can remove it. I'm gonna say okay times and click query this closest li dot remove. Okay, return false so it doesn't jump the page. So now I have an add and I have a remove also. If I reload, test d.com, blah blah blah, add contact, remove contact, add contact, and it sets the values as I want. Beautiful. This is one of the scenarios that I can do with it, which is a small repeater. It validates the email, validates the phone number. If validate is empty, then you can see that I can remove the list that I need. Otherwise, I can set the form variables to empty. This one here should be under here. Now let's talk about the variables. The variables here will allow you to inject. Supposing I use user, I need to select that I'm using user. I'm using the current post, the current page, the category, the term, the archive, the author. I'm gonna use them all. However, most of them will not work unless it's, for example, if you want to use category, the form must be on a category page. If you use a term, also the form must be on a taxonomy page, etc. If I click here, if validate is empty, I would say print me the page ID that I got this request from. Save, go here, p.com, phone number at 1275 is the page. You can see the link is 1275. This is our page. I can also add the user and say user ID. Who is it? And then add an email, phone number 1, which is my user ID. I can do as much listeners as I want for each. Just make sure that validate have only one value, which means that it will validate this one. It will not jump to the other one. The last one, which is the validation, which is a global validation. Global validation does not have anything to do with this one. This one is a per request validation. That means this will validate the request. If you whatever you set in the validate field here, it will be empty here. So anything that I need to validate again, I have to write it back here. So for example, I would say if form your email is empty, please validate, please enter a valid email. If form your phone is empty, please enter a valid phone. The validation works with fields. However, if you have already a validation on contact form 7, it will not work. It will not override. However, the form works. That's a restriction on contact form 7. I'm not able right now to find a workaround for it. What happens now is that I'm going to override the form values. I'm going to say this form is invalid. I'm going to say here, validate, merge. This form is invalid or requires invalid email. This form requires a valid form. Only one message can be shown in the form, not both messages. So now once I click save or send, this form requires a valid phone. And all of these. This is part of contact form 7 validation, but these are part of our validation because these fields are not required. The last thing is after submit. What happens after submit is that I want, for example, a redirect. I have already a variable that I have added that says redirect. Once the form is submitted and success, it redirects back to homepage /home. Not that only, you can execute any function you want here, which means like I would say wp insert post. I will allow this function to be executed. Copy it and put it here. wp insert post. Okay. The example. Okay. One example, please. There. Copy it. I'm gonna paste it here. Instead of array, go like this. We have some syntax, but it's very similar to PHP. So now what happens? WP insert post. This is it. Instead of JSON. Let's move the category. And say here user.id, publish content for use your name and title of this. Post type. What happens now is that once the form is successfully submitted, it will insert me a new post. My post title, content, status, and author, and whatever I need to be done. This should work. If there's no syntax error, this should work. Let's test. Test. This one. Send. I'm gonna debug it because most of the time there's some syntax errors and it happens a lot unless you are like you're willing to test it all the time. And let's see what happened here. Fatal error, unexpected character. Okay. With a semicolon, remove it. Save. Send again. Still unknown after submit. Now I inserted a post and it redirected. Inserted a page, WP insert post, post title. Let's see our page. Where is it? There it is. Last modified on today. This is the page that have been created right now. Have your name in the content. It's very simple, very straightforward plugin. It allows you to basically do any type of things you want to do with Contact Form 7. You can also go to the Mail tab. The Mail tab also have its own functionalities. I can set whatever I want here. Submission. Which is the value I need. If I dump the submissions, you can see that it will show on your email. Everything will be shown. can use if, user, you can use, of course, on the email, you cannot use page and other styles. You have to pass them throughout the validation here. In the developer tab. The developer tab will allow you to validate, allows you also to set values. Like this, for example, set for new value. To merge or merge your name. Sorry, this one is wrong syntax. I'll fix it quickly. New. This will allow me to pass a new value to the for. So I click save. I can go to the mail tab and I can say also here dump submission dot new value, which will print test because I have already set it here. Test new, sorry. This will allow you also to manipulate whatever you want with the for. As you can see, I just created a small repeater field. I validated it and I saved the for. You can also, if you have special functions like MailChimp, you can send it to MailChimp. You can create a hook. You can do whatever you want as long as you enable the functions that you need here. You can also check which page he's in, and as you can see here, it passes you the page. The page is taken from the front end. That means it will pass you test page. Also for category, term, archive, and author. If you're on the author page and you have a form, it will pass you the author and his values. I hope I covered everything. That should be like all for now. I will send more more snippets where you can do more stuff with it and cover basically every situation you need. Thank you all and wish you the best.